There we go. Are we live? Okay, cool. And we're going to stream on Instagram from the workshop for the first time ever tonight also. So that's exciting. Let's get this going. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's having a great day. Great time, y'all. Can you go plus? Nope. I just did this last night. I might be retarded. I don't know. We'll see. Pretty sure that this is exactly what the frick I just did. So I got two things that I'm running into a problem with. One is the fact that this light is not coming back on again. Yeah. Somebody help me, I'm retarded. I literally just did this the other day. It worked then. Alright, apparently this wants to give me all the heartache in the world. There we go. Let's go. Just charge my phone, I guess, and we will deal with the Instagram live thing later. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. I know I am. I got one problem I'm going to fix again real quick. Is this light on this damn camera, and other than that, we're going to be good. I got to go in the house real quick. Y'all bear with me. I still need to email Rio link. I totally forgot about it. There it goes. just go out again? It's not the worst lighting without it. It's just a pain in the ass because it's supposed to be working. Alright guys, so we ran into a little problem. All that prep work we did the other day on getting these boards glued together, everything was done right, but, you know, homemade clamps and shit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, it is just a little off. It's like a 30-second off right on the one side and just enough to be annoying on the other. Luckily, this is the downside, so I'm not extremely worried about it. What I am worried about is the way that it's going to line up when we put the apron on it. So, Skyrim coffee mug, what's up? So we are going to, pull the hand plane out. I'm going to make sure that it's all sharp. We did sharpen it before I left, before I moved. I was a little worried about it being in the box. This camera is pissing me off. I'm going to reset this camera really quick. See if that helps. See if it comes back up. Yeah, it just didn't cooperate. It was all weighted down and everything, and just didn't want to play. So I swear I hit the reset button on that camera too, by the way. This one's been a little funny. I'm going to I'll end up emailing Reolink and figuring it out. I just forgot to. Okay. Also, while you guys are doing that, or while we're doing that, y'all check this out. I got an order for another controller stand. This is a nice little piece. I did some ID on it. I actually got this piece of wood for free. A couple of them. Had a big old slab. There's a 6-foot slab over there, and then a couple of sawn-off pieces that guy dropped me off. It's like, hey man, I was going to build a table. I don't know what I'm doing, so you can have this. I did some ID on it and stuff just to verify. This is a nice hunk of white oak. So we're gonna we've got another controller stand. We actually have a controller stand order that's gonna work well with that. So we're gonna use that because he wants a little lighter color on his finish. So we're gonna go with a lighter color wood and finish as a whole. So that's gonna be that one. I can't wait to get that one done. We're looking at doing that this weekend. Bolter, what's up, buddy? Hey, thanks for coming, bro. I can't get the camera on this light on this one camera. It's just this one camera screwing with me, so that's all right. I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna run a test run on this planer with what am I gonna run it with? One thing I gotta do though is I'm going to actually screw a stop. Oh, I've got the other one still in there. Okay. I actually screwed a stop onto the back of this table if I was doing any planing work and stuff like that. So we're going to drop that up here real quick. I'm going to take down anything that could fall over or I could throw across the room while I'm doing this. So throw that rag up there, put the wood glue back. Sanding paper. Got this routing bit left over from the other day. It was in my routing bit drawer. Alright. Yeah. What was I gonna do? I was gonna check the plane on that wood. Or, I'm sorry, check the sharpness on the plane. So this is a piece of black oak that I've had sitting around the garage for a while. Used it for, most of it for a project. If y'all go on the website or on the Instagram, you can see the bar that was built out of this. The bar top for the dry bar was built out of black oak if you go on there. But yeah, check out the website. It's theLumberDaddy.com. theLumberDaddy.com. And you can check that out. And if you don't have the internet, I don't know how you're here. So what we're looking for right now is I want to make sure that it's got the blade actually has a little bit of protrusion, so just enough. We're not going to try to knock out a bunch at once. That's how you get it chunked out. You either get the blade cut up and you can't move forward with the plane, or you end up, if it's a softer wood, chunking out, you actually get tear out of different pieces. So making sure that that's just protruding just a little bit so I can feel it. Making sure that that blade is even. One thing we're going to look for as we make this pass is that as I pass, the actual blade, the wood shavings are going to come up central, not to one side or the other, because that'll mean that the blade is tilted to one side or the other. So we're just going to go ahead. We've got this piece here is a little, there's little protrusions and stuff. It's going to throw us off. We can't use that as a diagnosis yet because there's like little ridges and stuff from the actual, when it was passed through the thickness planer. All right, so one thing with this too, and that's my fault. I forgot to check that. We're going backwards. Like we're working on a test piece. So one thing with working with a hand plane, guys, is you got to take the grains of the wood grain into account. Very possibly, man. I'm going to be streaming for the workshop for a good part of the night. I'm going to try to get some Metro in because I want to make some progress on the game. But yeah, we might be able to get in a couple games. I haven't played Warzone since the last time I played with you. But we'll see how it goes, dude. So, now that this is in. So one thing, we were talking about the grain. See, now I had the wood backwards because it's been a minute. I forgot to do this. Then I realized as soon as I caught myself that I forgot to take a look at the wood grain direction. So you're never going to get, wood grains are basically the fiber in between the rings of the tree. That's your outer annual layers of the bark, right, where the bark was as it grows. And the actual what's in the grain and in the heartwood is all these tubules, right? They're basically like the veins of the tree. Well, they don't always grow straight up and down. If you've ever looked at a tree, they don't grow straight up and down. So they grow with the winding of the tree, and when they get slabbed, sometimes they, all the time, the grain gets cross-cut, everything else, but they generally lay like a stack of straws. One thing you're going to get, though, is you're going to get a direction on the straws top to bottom, right, on the grain. So, like, you can't plane a wood with the grain, or the grains will bend and they'll cause tear out and stuff. You have to go with the direction of travel. So you have to look at the board surface that you're going with, and you have to find out what direction, up or down and away and towards you, those grains are traveling, and you plane with them, not against them. Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Hey, you can buy me back as many times as you want if we play. So. Alright, so it is cutting, but this piece is pretty freaking flat. So, just to get a little bit more, I can feel that, but we're going to pull the blade down just a little. We're going to go ahead and adjust it. Just loosen that up so we can adjust. And we'll come back in. I'll make sure that nothing's blocking the frog. Alright, so I know the blade is sharp. Pretty centered. Okay. That's all I was doing. I just wanted to test that. Guys, you get really, really good with a hand plane, which I am not. You can actually plane that smoother than you can a piece of sand, than sanding it with a piece of sandpaper. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look. Unfortunately, we do not have a way to look at the grain in the center piece of wood. So I'm going to make an assumption based on the way that the grain was growing. Because what I can do is look at the other two, because these pieces came from the same slab, right? So I'm going to look at the grain direction here on the edge, and that's going to tell me whether it's top or bottom, like the relative moving this way or moving this way. And then I can plane based off of that. Okay. Now that being said, now I know which grain direction this is going, and I can look at this and take a look generally, because I'm the one that cut the slab up, and I can kind of figure out what direction that grain was going based on that. Alright. We'll see how this goes, because I might be wrong. Absolutely, man. And all I'm going to do is I'm just trying to push through. I want to make sure that ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this joint down I need a weighted table for this. I'm gonna actually have to build a planing table. You see we're running that right off. Because that surface, that corner, that edge right there was raised up. Okay. And that's what happened. I got that blade a little too shallow. Or I'm sorry, a little too deep. Because I was playing with the other piece. I meant to adjust this too when we came back. Part of this I've played around with before, guys. Part of it, like the hand planing and stuff is new to me in the last year. I've been building furniture for roughly 5 years, but I've been doing a lot of it with machine tools and stuff. Hand tools are something I've been wanting to get into. I'd like to ultimately and eventually do all of it the old way. There's actually a school here in South Carolina, once upon a time, that I had considered going to. I'm not going to be able to now. It's super expensive. But I did consider for a while going to the American College of Building Arts. And what they do is they teach historic methods of construction. So if, let's say, you had to go in and restore a house according to, let's say, the National Registry standards, because there's only certain things you can do. Once a house is on the National Registry or a building's on the National Registry, it has to be maintained and kept up in the same manner that it was built, because it's a historic piece. So all I'm going to do with this, though, is I'm going to plane out a little bit. I had a lot of trouble with getting this thing to bite. It might be more dull than I thought. So they teach you to go in and look at the historic method of that house. And they do everything from timber framing to blacksmithing for like the stair frames and stuff, and stained glass. There you go. There we go. Yeah, I just want to get it enough, burn those edges off, and then we're going to run it. We'll end up sanding it back down across most of this. What I don't want to do is I don't want to scrub plane this. I'm afraid that I might have to. This thing is so smooth, it's not biting. Let's put just a little bit of cant into this. Knock that down a little bit. Should drop that stop down just a little bit. It's a little high. I think I built it actually for 1-inch boards though. Or attached it for 1-inch boards. Now that I think about it, for when I actually put it in. It's just not getting traction, man. All right, so we're going to do this the other way that I didn't really want to, but that's okay. We're going to use a orbital palm sander for this. I'm not going to go with a belt sander. I could. It would rip this thing really, really quick, but in ways that I don't necessarily want to go with. So we're going to throw on some 60 grit. We're going to run until this thing's smooth. I don't mean smooth, I mean level. That's what I meant. That'll be good to get that glue off of here anyway. Some of that glue that leaked through when we actually did the assembly on the panel. I think what we'll do tonight, as soon as we get this all nice and level like we like it, I'm going to go ahead and cut that bow tie tonight so that it's one piece. So once we start this, it's not something we have to worry about installing later. So really what happened when this glued, the middle board settled. Even though we ran that through the planer and we had everything nice and thick, I think there was a little bit of twist to it still. And when it glued, because the way I panel clamped it, they weren't true panel clamps. There was a little bit of twist to it, and because there was a little bit of twist to it when it dried, even though all of it was perfectly the same thickness and all of that, it just came up a little short on the quality. So that's okay, we're gonna fix it. It's not gonna affect the actual quality of the job at all. We're just gonna take it down just a little bit, and then we'll flip it and we'll take the other two boards down a little bit. So what we'll essentially do is we'll just make it about a 32nd of an inch thinner on each side. It did glue up right, everything was good that way. So it'll be money. And then we will bow tie it. Yeah, Kit, we're gonna bow tie the Nook. There's a little piece of gluing surface in this groove on this side, and a little bit on this side that was misaligned also, which is fine because these were not perfectly lined up, just because they were a little bit. I had cut these preliminarily months ago, and they were really, really close, but I wasn't happy with them being the same. My intent was to get them really close, panel glue them together, and then cut it to one piece so it was all nice and uniform. So we're going to go ahead. Luckily, that's a little bit of where that twisted also, so we'll just cut a little bit of that twist right out. We'll get that circular saw in there and make sure that we cut that right off, right nice and square. Part of the reason I didn't want to scrub plane this, which means like to scrub it left and right to get that bowing out, was this piece right here. I thought about using that as a decorative piece, which is why I included it in the boards that I cut. But when this became a reality, I realized that that wasn't going to work. So we just adapted it. I didn't want it on the outside, so we kept it on the inside of the board on the underside. This is actually the downside of the top of the bottom tier tabletop for the coffee nook, and this will be basically this will be above the drawers in the furniture itself, so you'll never actually even see that. Structurally it'll be fine, everything's going to be glued together, and the way we build around here is that every piece reinforces the puzzle of the furniture that it is. So each piece is supported not only by itself, the pieces next to it, but each piece is also constructed. We go out of our way to make sure that we construct each piece in a manner in which each component is supporting the actual structure of the furniture piece itself. So that being there is not going to be a problem. If nothing else, it'll be a nice little decorative. I'm really not liking the way that is bowing out still. Kitten said that because I've never been a fan of bow ties. I realize what they do structurally. They are a decorative way of reinforcing a piece of furniture, a piece of wood that's going into any construction. And what it does is it pulls the grain of a second piece of wood against a crack or a break in the wood, anything like this, and reinforces it using the angle of the bow tie itself in order to prevent that wood from separating any further, and actually holds it together. So it is strengthening, it is decorative. You guys will see that shortly. We'll try to cut that tonight as soon as we can get this all nice and even. The nice thing about these orbital sanders and stuff too, so I have a method of doing, I have a ways of doing things. I always try to be creative and recycle stuff and find ways to fix problems ahead of time. And one of them that I take pride in is I will make my own wood putty for a piece if there's anything that I need to fill, or a crack that comes up that can't be bow tied, or let's say there's texture in a piece, in the top of a piece that looks really nice, but we don't want it just to be empty so stuff can fall in it. So we'll actually take the sanding dust, which is collecting in the sander right now, and we'll mix it with a couple things and actually create our own wood putty. And this way, the wood putty that we use in a piece comes from the wood from the piece, so that the colors are matched. And if we do it right, you can't tell that it's filled. Part of that involves using as little chemical as possible. And then also, once it's in there, making sure that it's in there when we put our finish coat on it so that it seals in. It can't fall in. It's not, or fall out. It's not wood putty in the traditional sense, but it's not like wood spackle. But it is a wood putty mixture. And pretty proud of the ability to do that. So it's pretty simple, but I think it makes a piece look. I think it makes a piece look really, really nice. So what I'm doing right now is making sure that we've dropped that middle board enough, and we haven't. There's still some gapping in there. This is going to pose a problem later when we go to actually build the walls of the support for the tabletop, which is also where the drawers are going to go in and all that fun stuff. So not quite there. We can clamp some of it. We can actually fix some of that with proper clamping. But I still want to make sure we get this to as close as possible before we try to do anything else and move on. The more time we spend prepping something now, the less time we'll have to worry about it not being right later and then having to fix it. So we're going to go ahead and do this right here. Make sure we spend a little bit of time sanding all of this. And right now I'm just sanding with a 60 grit sandpaper, trying to tear up as much as I can, but in a controlled manner. So, and you can almost feel in the sander, you can feel the dips and stuff in the wood anyway. So I'm also using that to be able to tell. I know this side is a lot closer, but there was a little bit of gapping with this being the high side on the back here. So just trying to focus on that. In the back, we know that this board is flat to itself. It was pretty square, so we're gonna just touch that up a little bit. But this right here, this side is our major concern if you look at the gapping and stuff, which you guys can't see in that camera. But we're gonna make sure that this, and I can feel it with the sander right there is the drop off. So I don't want to be able to feel that. So I can feel the contour in the wood is not quite where I want it to be. If you guys would like to help me out, avoid this problem in the future, those panel clamps would be really nice. Donation button down below. But no, don't worry about that at all. It's always about being able to work out solutions to stuff too. So I enjoy the challenge of, hey, I don't have that tool, let me see if I can do this right. There's multiple ways to do stuff. Also makes me think and problem solve, so I actually kind of really like it. So I'm just gonna move with the grain of the wood here. We're gonna see where we're at right now. We'll go ahead. Put that back up. Yep. Still not real happy with the center of this board, so we'll keep it up. As a matter of fact, you know what? I wasn't gonna do it, but we're gonna do it really quick just to get a quick rip. I don't have any belt sander paper here. That'll work though. It'll work for right now. And I'll make sure I get to Lowe's and go get some more sander paper for this. Facebook Messenger. Which you want to bet is my father? Woo! You can hear it outside. So I'm in South Carolina. We had a hurricane blew through Florida last night and tonight. But we're definitely going to end up catching the remainder of that storm down there. So actually looking forward to it. Made it pretty interesting this week, and the fact that everything has cooled off down here. It was running. Normally I would have new sandpaper on this, guys. So don't judge me. I'll clean it off when I'm done. But it was running close to 90 down here during the day all last week. And when we got home from Michigan, and today it was 78 degrees is the high. It's supposed to not get above 75 for the rest of the week. So hey, don't do this without either a heavy enough piece or anchor it down. I'm willing to be stupid on stream, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. But, you know. It's all in the name of entertainment, y'all. You can do things right and still be unsafe. OSHA be damned. Okay. figure it's close enough. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll finish it up with the orbital again. And that is, yeah, I think that's all dried epoxy. I'm going to have to get some new sandpaper for that. All right. It's also why you guys order something off the website. Shop supply costs and all that stuff. That's all factored all in. So there's not going to be any hidden stuff after the fact. If you order something, the price I give you is the price you're gonna pay. So I have already taken all that stuff into account by the time I've given you a price, and your prices will not go up. Even if it costs me extra time, if something happens. Now, once I quote a price, guys, that's the price. If you change something after the fact, then we'll renegotiate. But no, if you all order something, y'all orders. Like, that's the price you'll get, that's the price I'm gonna give you. Still feeling a little bit right here. I'm really worried about this, because this is where the apron's gonna come in, right about here. I don't mass produce my stuff, guys. You order something, if you buy something, you're the only one with that piece, I promise. The only exception to that is some of these gamer communities and stuff in which we're selling their branded merchandise. If you order something that's branded from a gaming community, you're going to get that gaming community's merchandise, courtesy of LumberDaddy. So, all right. Let's see where we're at. Bolter, let me know when you get home, buddy. I'm eager to see what you think, and also to make sure everything went well. All right. So we're still, man, we are still high on that side right there. All right. I am really not happy with the fact that that happened, by the way. Okay. See how much we're actually off. No, it wasn't my. No, it wasn't my father. So you know. Half expected him. I get a text every couple weeks about something I did wrong or something. I may go back to the hand plane at this point. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. So now our high points are on the edges. Barbecue time. What you making, brother? You know I ain't got barbecue in Canada. Bullshit. So right there, there's our interaction spot right there where it hits. So we're gonna go from this side over. So this little hole right here, and I showed y'all on stream the other day, there's little bacteria or wormholes. I think that's an example of something I would use that wood paste on, wood putty, just to fill it, because because of where it is and the proximity to the edge and stuff, there's a chance that that could crack through, and we don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and backfill that to add some strength to it. It's one of those small spots on a piece of wood that could potentially give a problem later, so we don't want that. So we're just going to go ahead and fill it. Yeah, you come on down to South Carolina, brother. I'll give you some barbecue. We'll take you for real barbecue. Sausages and mac and cheese. Yeah, you come on down, man. Don't drop your tools on the floor. I'll take you to a real place. I got a place down here that's it's an all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet. I am 100% convinced it started as a potluck for the old Baptist church on the hill across the street. And it is, like, it's decorated like it still was. It's insane. Love it. White and red checkered freaking plastic tablecloths they changed out. It's in like a cafeteria style, like church cafeteria building almost. It's amazing, but it's all you can eat, man. It's like 13 bucks. Some of the best damn barbecue I've ever had. Yeah, it is, dude. I tell you what, I've had barbecue in every state. Every state does it different. Some of the best damn barbecue I've ever had is Carolina barbecue, though. Georgia comes in a tight second. But there's that place I was telling you that's outside of Fort Polk there in Leesville that I told the guy that runs it, I said, bro, I've been around the world twice, and this is the best damn food I've ever had in my life. They got these barbecue fries. They call them voodoo fries. You guys would call it poutine, all you sacrilegious assholes out there, because y'all call anything fries. Anything fries with anything on it is poutine, apparently. But no, this is it's like them good ass, like big old steak fries. and they would top it with cheese, and then their homemade barbecue sauce. So cheese sauce, and then their personal recipe barbecue sauce, and then they top it with shredded brisket that they smoked, shredded chicken, barbecue sausages, and then barbecue pulled pork in their barbecue sauce. And then they top that with jalapeno ranch and then jalapenos on top of it. And that was the best damn plate of food. This plate of fries would feed probably 4 people. I usually ate it myself. Kind of why I'm fat, guys. I like food. But this thing, that was the best damn barbecue place I've ever had in my life. Their brisket was on point, bro. You come on down to South Carolina, I'll get you some Carolina barbecue, man. We'll go eat us some vinegar-based stuff. It's amazing. I've had like Memphis and St. Louis style and stuff too, man. Nah, Carolina barbecue got it on top of it all. All right, so we got a little bit of high side right here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sand this joint out right here, and then we'll be able to get to the top. Yep, I can feel that right there. So that bow tie is going to help on the top side, and then that apron is going to come in right about here, give or take. It's going to help to reinforce that also. And anytime we do aprons or anything like that, we'll go ahead and dowel pin all that stuff too. So it'll help make sure that that glue dries exactly the way we want it to dry. Something I probably should have done when I joined these panels. Originally I was going to dowel pin them, but with the rabbit that we cut for joining both sides, I looked at it and I was like, nah, I think we're going to be good. Unfortunately, it did bend a little bit. Those dowels will help align it though when we start doing all of the other assembly on the other pieces. So, and a little high spot, right about here. We can tell that because that's where the level is rocking. Check that out. Yeah, absolutely, man. Let me know when you get home, you get the mail, and you get all that. Yeah. That camera light is really making me upset. I think. All right. I tell you what, we are close enough that I don't want to do close enough though. I'm not a close enough kind of guy. say we're close enough that when we assemble this, it only has to bend just the smallest amount, over 17, 18 inches. But I want to get it as close as I possibly can. So we're still going to draw this out just a little bit. Take a little bit more off. There's the spot right there. That's the high spot. I can feel it in the sander. Riding up the hill. I got that weak spot right along the, or the high spot right along that crack now. There's a little bit was on this edge also. Something I don't really want to bend that down into. Okay. All right. Hey, we're in business. We are in business. All right, we're going to flip this over. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to have a little bit of raised edge here. This is going to be the part that's going to take us a little bit longer. We're going to go ahead and clamp this and then pull the belt sander out. This is the top surface. And we're just going to run a belt sander on this. I'm going to clamp one side down. I'm going to go ahead and weigh the other side down. No, because I've got to be able to get to that. So, hey, we'll just send it, man. We're going to turn the fan on just to keep the dust blowing towards the back of the workshop, I think, a little bit. We're going to see if that helps. It's probably not going to. It's probably going to suck everything up and make it even worse. But at least you guys aren't in here to suffer with me. Go ahead and put that on low. The thing with a belt sander is it's going to be really, really easy to burn those wear marks right into the surface you're working on. Ever seen a floor that had a bad belt sand job done on it? You know what I'm talking about. It's going to be the same thing with a piece like this. But the problem is this is a much prettier piece than that floor that's going to get a whole lot of other attention. I'm going to go ahead and use the direction of the belt to catch some of that grain right there where that high spot. And the secret to the belt sander is, like I said, if you're not careful, you end up burning a spot. Alright, well that brought us right down to where we wanted to be. A little faster than I wanted it to, but that's okay. And you can burn those wear marks. Let's see, and we're going to make sure that we sand this out to 220 on the top surface. So we know it'll work. It's just going to buy us, it's just going to take us a little bit longer to make sure to overcome some of those belt sander marks to get down low enough to undo so you can't actually see them. This is beautiful, beautiful wood, guys. Beautiful wood. Again, this is a pecan top, pecan, depending on where you're at in the States and whether or not you can read. And this is going on a solid oak coffee Nook built body. So you'll see that the white, this is actually lighter than the oak that we're going to build on. We're building on red and live oak. So this pecan top is going to be a really, really nice contrast to that. And actually, something interesting about this is part of this. I've had this in the designs since I really came up with this. I'm going to stain this coffee Nook. It's going to have a two-tone finish to it, not including the top. So hopefully the top will offset the lighter oak that we use when we stain it, and then the other one you'll have a darker finish to it, and it should be a really, really beautiful contrast. Guys, this is one of those few times where I build a piece without a buyer. If it's something somebody's interested in, let me know. Otherwise, it's going in my house. So. But if you want something done like this, not necessarily this piece, you can go ahead and hit up the website. You can get a hold of me at info@theLumberDaddy.com. You can leave all that stuff and make sure that you get your custom consultation, and we can get that all set up for you. And again, it'll be a piece that nobody else has, completely unique, designed just for you, completely custom. All right, so we've got the top pretty well. All the ledges, all the differences, pretty well sanded out. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the orbital sander now. I like to use this for two purposes. The orbital one is if I've got some medium roughness or like slightly high spots that we need to take down. That belt sander is good for anything in mass, any bulk removal, large scale removal. But once we move past that large scale, we need to go ahead and use something different, and the orbital sander for that is perfect. Unlike in like a random reciprocating or anything like that, it will not leave a defined burn. It will leave whirl patterns, which ultimately this just looks like a polish anyway. So, okay, we've got a little bit of high ground. We're going to take a little bit of high off here. Let's mark that so we can actually see where we're removing. I actually have a better pencil for this over here. I've got pencils and marking stuff laid all over the place. I like these Carpenter marking pencils because you just sharpen them with an X-Acto knife or with a box cutter or any knife you have laying around. We're going to go ahead and hit here and here. And still up here. Looks like there's a high spot right around here. And we can mark this with a pencil because it was sanded, it'll come off. So, yeah, this entire board here, it looks like. So we've got some more kind of in this area. Okay. That's the general, yeah, that's the general pattern is basically this. So we're going to go ahead and take that board down a little bit. We'll take off a couple hot spots over here, and then we'll get back to it. Again, once we get this flat tonight, we'll go ahead and look at that bow tie. And what we need to do in order to get that assembled. We're going to go ahead and cut the bow tie first. We'll take measurements, and then we'll cut the bow tie out of, we want it to be another piece of wood that's going to be in this piece of furniture, so we're not introducing too many color variations with the final finish. But we'll make this out of a darker oak color so that when we actually do the finish, Really, really nice contrast on the working surface. We're going to lift the sander up because we just want to hit that one hot spot, that ridge. I don't want to put, we don't want to be sanding down too much of the surrounding area around it. We're going to hit this right here because we didn't hit it with a sander. We want that to smooth out. Ultimately, we'd get that during finish anyway, but I just want to see it. So. See how that rides across. Just gonna make sure we get that glue out of that joint. Any glue left on the surface and stuff, it'll play with the finish. Whatever chemical we end up finishing this with, whether it's polyurethane or anything like that. So we want to get rid of that residual glue because it will stand out. And it will make a extremely nice piece look trashy real quick. So we want to make sure that we get that out of there. And again, it's something that we would end up doing during the finish, but I'm looking at it right now, so I'm going to do it. We'll go ahead and hit these couple hot spots that we had right here. All right, now we'll take our level, we'll run it across, and we'll see what kind of trouble spots we still have here. So one thing I haven't been doing is going front to back. I'm going to kind of worry about this on the top. I wasn't too worried about it under by the drawers, because that problem's going to resolve itself. All right, so it looks like we don't have too much of a problem left to right here. It looks pretty flat, so I'm happy with that. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, find our little trouble spots here again. Okay, that piece is coming off. Pretty even right here. Pretty even again. There's a couple spots, like if you get water on this or anything, like I'm sure water will collect. It's not going to be perfectly like microns flat. But ultimately, like, the point would be why you leaving water on your furniture. So pretty freaking flat, guys. Look at that. Almost no high spots left. I'm not actually seeing any. There's a little light coming through right there, but that's all right. Perfect. Exactly how we want it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure for this bow tie. And what I think we're going to do is two things. One, I promise you guys, we're going to cut the edges off of this really quick to make them all squared up. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my actual square. Did I leave it in the damn car still? I'd lose my freaking mind if it wasn't in my head. I swear I used it for something recently. It's in my trunk. Let's see how the storm's blowing through yet or not. Looks like, nope, we're not getting rain. I am going to catch the end of that hurricane. All right, we're back, guys. Sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead. One, we know that back side is square, or was straight, because we cut it But I'm going to go ahead and make sure anyway. So if I'm taking something off a square, I want to make sure that the square surface I'm squaring it to is flat and straight. So we know, okay, looks good, we're good. The reason I couldn't use the square for that is it just wasn't long enough. Now, we're going to use the longest side that we can for our base, because I want to make sure that I'm going to anchor it here, right? But I want to make sure it's accurate way out here, okay? Because that makes a smaller angle of error. So we're going to go ahead and mark that, get rid of the least amount of scrap as we can. Basically, I'm just going to leave a saw blade kerf width on the minimum piece. If we go any lower than that, what will happen is that saw blade will deflect because it won't catch the wood, and then it will bend. And then when the saw blade bends, it will go around the piece instead of cut it, and that will pose a problem because it won't be square. We'll go to all this trouble and it won't be square, and then we'll have to do it again and we lose more material. So we're going to go ahead and do that there too. Now is the fun part. I get to cut shit. All right. So there's a couple different things about my circular saws, guys, that you'll notice. One is I use a couple different blade sizes. There's a reason for that. You probably won't notice it. I'm going to tell you about it. The reason is based on the tooth count on the saw blades is how fine of a finish you're going to get, or whether it's going to tear through something. Rip cut blades, finishing blades, rip cut. So say I was going to actually rip down the length of the board and use a rip cut blade, and then I would come back and sand it up afterwards. And those are your lower tooth count blades. This is a finishing blade. I've already got the majority of the work done, and I'm essentially cross-cutting this wood. So that helps also. So what I'm going to do is actually do this. I'm going to do this on the table saw, not with the table saw, but on the table saw. So we're going to move over here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and set this up, clear the top of it. And this is the straightest piece. This is the straightest bench that I have that I would be able to do this on, aside from moving several other tools. So I'm not going to move the planer. I'm not going to move the scroll saw or the drill press. So we're going to go ahead and set this up right here on the table saw. And we'll clamp it down and get it all set up to cut. I'll make sure I drop that table saw blade also. So we'll do this out here so we can clamp it down. And it is at a little bit of an angle. If you can see that from the camera, that's okay, because what I'm really worried about is the blade relative to the board that we're cutting, and that is straight. So, and on top of that, we're going to use an edge guide. So let me get this clamped down really, really nice. You always clamp your working piece. Somebody asks you how many clamps you need in your workshop, or you need to know, the answer is one more. Edge guides over here. We have a 4-inch blade to guide distance on the table saw, or on the this circular saw. My other one's 4.5. Just depends on what you're working with. Make sure that you measure and use the right ones. More clamps that are over. I just used them. I literally just used them. So what happens when you don't put your shit back, guys? Whee! I'm literally missing clamps. That's alright. Okay. That's fine. Now it's not even about the fact that I don't really need them that much. I just am upset they're not where I want them. All right, so we got a 4-inch blade to guide difference. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that. I got a pencil right here. I'm going to start at the 1 and go to 5 because it's easier than trying to figure out 1 in 30 seconds. We're going to mark as close to the edge as we can because angles and stuff. From 1 to 5. Okay. And then we're going to check that again because my grandpa always told me you measure twice, cut once, because you can't cut twice. So, four inches. 4 inches. That's enough to get the job done. Don't let her lie to you. All right. So now we'll go ahead and get the edge guide on. Right at the point where we marked. And then remember that there's a little bit of deflection because of torque, clamping torque when we come on here. So once we get it clamped down, what we're going to do is we're just going to double check again. We can go ahead and triple check that. And we're a little bit off. And I see a message in the chat for channel points. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll get right over there to the iPad, and I will check your channel point claim. How you doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a wonderful night. I really do. Thank you all for coming out. God bless you all. Appreciate every one of you. So, that's on there nice and tight. Let's see what we got. Chris, how you doing? She's inside, bro. Give me 1 second. Let me go get her. I'm gonna revamp those channel points, but I do want to let you keep doing that. Hold on a second. She's right here. I'll get her outside in the shop, and we'll get her on camera for you. Ooh. In fact, I'm gonna bring out a snack because I want a snack. Come here. People like you. I guess you're cute and shit. Come on, out in the garage. Come here, baby. Hi. Hi. Come here. Everybody thinks you're so cute. You want a treat? You want a treat? Oh, is that a good girl? Yes, you are. You're a very good girl. Say hi to Chris. Can you say thank you? They're just salami, dude. I'm not eating dog treats. You want another one? Are you cleaning my shop floor? Look at you wagging your tail. There's your good girl. Good girl. All right, come on. In the house, baby. Come on. She told me to tell you thank you. She loves it when you do that. All right. It was a little bit off. So we're going to come back and do that again. Remeasure. 4 and 1/16. 3 and 15 or 30 seconds. So we're going to come back just a little bit. I want this to be as precise as possible because this is our 90-degree angle right here. We got 4 plus a little bit, 4 exactly. This gets a little interesting because this live edge, you know, it doesn't always, it's not always straight because it's a tree and it does what it wants. So we'll go ahead. That was a little much, guy. kind of got to hold it, clamp it, make sure it's exact. I am a little picky when it comes to these, because I hate it when something's not square. Bothers me to no end. How's your day going, Chris? There we go. Perfect. Let's cut it before it decides it wants to do something else. All right. Y'all ready? All right. Let's get it done. Excuse me. This was a freshly charged battery. Apparently it's not. Apparently I didn't charge this one. That's pretty cool. So we'll throw that on the charger. See if the one I pulled off of it was charged. I think I only cut like one board with it. That's good, man. That's good. Progress, bro. Progress. I got my court case is next Wednesday, and I don't even have to go. Oh, there we go, there we go. Get it all the way through the edge of the live edge. Make sure we go past that. Now, we'll go ahead, we'll pull this edge guide off, and what we're going to do is we're going to re-square it anyway. We're just going to double check and make sure. So I got this combination square right here. We're going to use this one right instead because it's sitting right in front of me. Line that up, and that is damn close to perfect. Can't get perfect. There's only been one perfect carpenter in the history of the world, and I ain't him. But that is damn close to perfect. So we'll go ahead. We're going to turn it over, clamp the other side. I'm going to need some more of these salami because they're really good. I'm on a mostly carnivore diet. Mostly protein, no sugar. Except for the candy because it's Halloween, so leave me alone, don't guilt me. But, it's eat meat. Eat when you're hungry. And when you're done with the meat, as much as you want to eat, then you can have, like, certain vegetables. Like low carb stuff, above ground broccoli, celery. Stuff that doesn't stay with you. So we're basically on as few carbs as possible. It's done me good. Between that and working out, I've lost about 13 pounds in the last 2 months. So that's been it's been helping. So we're gonna go ahead again, mark our 4-inch standoff for our saw. We'll load up the edge guide and fumble with this for about 5 minutes till we get this perfect. As perfect as we can get it, because nobody's perfect. Mark, all set. Let's remeasure. 4 inches. 4 inches. This side was a little easier because the live edge is flat parallel relative to the other side. The side we just cut, it was angled out a little bit. It wanted to be a pain in the ass. So that's okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to make this cut. Stand by. And then again, we'll pull this edge guide off. We'll go ahead and we'll check the square. Make sure everything's good before we pull it off, so that we know that we're solid. Money! Man, I wish I could get paid for this shit. I could, and I'm trying. All right. I'm too good at this. Just kidding. But, for real. Let's take this back over to the other table. We'll check this out. We'll see what we're going to do with the bow tie. So this is our piece right here. So something interesting, because any bow tie we put in this is going to cross over into the other board. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make it a complex bow tie. We'll make it cross 2 cuts. We're going to make it cross that panel separation. We're going to make it cross the crack. So that bow tie is actually going to be bigger than we thought it was going to be. So what are we going to make it with? Well, another piece of oak, like what we were talking about the table's going to be made with. Of which we have a bunch. That's that black oak. It's a different species. I'm just looking to see if there's a chunk of these big boards that we've already cut. So those ones will be working. That is that wood right there. So what I want to do is we're going to stencil out our bow tie. And the reason bow ties work, guys, is because, and I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm just roughing this out right now. I don't have the angles exactly right because I don't have a protractor in my face. So, but that's okay. Right? Whoa, we're halfway there. So the reason they work is because in order for the wood to pull apart at this crack, you have to pull against the upslope of each individual side of the bow tie. So, that being said, you know what, we could do this with a box. I could just square this off. So the harder it cracks and tries to pull away, the tighter the bow tie gets. It actually works against the pull of the crack in the wood. So, he's going to crack on his wood. I swear I'm still 12. Okay. Let's take it to 4 inches again. And then we use this also, we work with the grain of the wood, right? So right now I'm just sizing it up. I'm not actually going to cut this. I will not cut this until we have this figured out right here. So we're just going to do it as a 4x2 inch. We're not going to avoid this knot. We don't want to play with any of the knot strength and stuff. We want to use as much of the straight grain on this as we can. So we're just going to go ahead. We're going to cut this to 2 inches. We'll cut it to 2 1/4. This way we've got some extra play room. I always like to create a little extra play room in what I'm building. Actually, I can use this with the small square right here. I'll just set this to 4 inches. And we'll cut that nice and square right there. We're going to take it over to the bandsaw, cut that real quick. No, you're not going to be able to see it on the lathe camera. We're going to go to, yeah, we'll stay at the table saw cam. We'll be all right with that. I saw that, ladies. Y'all looking at my ass. Quality construction right there. Fire the jackass that built that. Oh, that was me. Never mind. All right. We're just going to go ahead and cut this, you know, in a direction. So I'm not really happy with the 90 on this, to tell you the truth. It's kind of hard to measure and square up a guide on the bandsaw because the blade's so tiny. But we're going to try to do it here because I'm not happy with the 90 that I'm getting out of this. I bet that'll help us now. So we're going to come back and do that again. I can see it already. Yep. Ba-bam. I'm wondering, is that pushing? I feel like that's pushing the blade a little bit. It's pushing the wood piece a little bit off of that 90. something I need to get really good with, and I'm not. I'll get this as close to this as I can. We'll just finish it off on a sander. We got that belt sander over there. And we'll make sure that it's all nice and flush. There's some human error in this, and I want to eliminate that. So, shall we? All right. Very nice, very nice. All right. And we got our 2-inch mark that we're going to mark on here for this to be square. Extra square. Guys, I just say shit. It comes out of my mouth. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. All right. So we're going to hit this on the belt sander here real quick. Not the handheld one, but the tabletop one. My old ass has to pick up to get. Move our tabletop here. This is the first bow tie I've cut, guys, so bear with me. I know how to do it. I know what I'm doing. I just haven't done it. Because up until somebody else convinced me it was a good idea, I was like, nah, I'm good. And then I realized I was just being a stubborn jerk, so. There we go. Nice and flat. All right. And it's like the perfect width. This is about a 1/2 inch thick. So it's going to be money. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Actually, I'm going to bring the camera back. We're going to flip that back. We're going to go ahead and draw our bow tie on here. So what I want to do is cut to the halfway point, which I know is 2 inches. Because I cut it to 4, so you know. Go to school, kids. Math class is good for something. Teach you to think different. Everybody's like, oh, I'm never going to need this. Bro, it's changing your thinking. Trust me. Okay, so then this is 2 inches wide. we're going to cut 1/4 of an inch in on our bow tie. So I'm going to set this to 1/4 of an inch. Let's cut to 3/8. I think I'm a bigger fan of that. Okay, we'll cut to 3/8 in on each side. And that'll be just enough to get us where we want to be. We won't lose a lot of the grain, but it'll be fat enough that it will catch the split and keep anything else from happening to the wood. Isn't this so pretty? It's so pretty! I can't believe he's making a bow tie. Yeah, well. Finally gave in. Everybody likes them. They're all over Pinterest. It's because they work well. Now we'll see if I can cut straight. That's going to be the test, isn't it? There's actually a guy watch. He does this professionally. It's on YouTube. He does bow tie so often. He created a jig just for these. Just to cut a bow tie. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, again, these aren't perfectly my style, but they work. So that's all that matters. All right. All right. See if I can cut my fingers off. Being blind doesn't help for this, by the way. I gotta get my actual glasses, guys. I can't see to cut this. Give me 1 second. I just put something back, and then I gotta grab my glasses because I can't see shit, and I'm cutting things with a saw. I know. I heard you. I was hoping my other pair was over there. Give me 1 second, guys. Going back to cut the other one. I can see again. Very nice. That was scary. Your bandsaw is not supposed to make a rattle noise. The angle guide was rattling. So we'll give these, it's going to be a little off, there's going to be a little deviation. We'll give it a really nice sand before we trace the bow tie into the table. So this is the way we do this. We cut the bow tie first, and we make the cut to fit the bow tie. Because we're going to have to take the router out and actually route down in the pattern and the size of the bow tie. So it's easier to cut the bow tie the size we need it. And then make the cutout to match than it is to make the cutout. I started freehand this and it didn't work out too well. Let's see if we can save it. Yeah, it's easier to make the bow tie and then cut the groove to match than it is to cut the groove and the mortise for the bow tie. It's actually a mortise. And then try to cut the bow tie to match the mortise. Kind of works like a mortise and tenon joint, except that's where it ends, is in the name. All right. Let's see how we did. Ah. Breaking shit. Why are you breaking shit, bro? Oh, wait, for real. What just happened? Oh, okay. Too easy. The lower cover for the disc, the sanding disc, came off. That's not an issue. I'll fix it later. Okay. So now we're back to what we have here. Let's sand all this bullshit off really quick, so because Daddy gets confused. I'm old. So now we have our surface prepped. We have our bow tie cut. So now what we need to do is cut the mortise for the bow tie, because it's essentially a mortise. Look at that. That is going to be beautiful contrast right there. All right. Right there. Right there. When we cut this, we make sure that we will cut it on the inside of that line so we get a nice perfect fit. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull the router up, Gotta bring it up to this side of the table. Because right now it's mounted underneath. And if we get that to fit today, then what we'll do, we actually don't even need to seat it all the way in. We just need to get it seated. And then, if it protrudes up a little bit, we'll just sand it off. But we are going to route this and sand this tonight. Hey, Bolt, I can't promise I'm going to get any games in tonight, bro. We might have to schedule for tomorrow. Yeah, have a promise with a little lady. So we try to spend time together at night, and I've been failing in that, so we're going to try to fix that tonight. It's kind of the only time we get together. All right, and we'll go ahead, unhook the router real quick. Let's drop the motor out first before we do anything else. A little jammed up in there. When we're using it on the table, sometimes some of the dust gets in there, jams that mount up. So screwdriver. Watch me not be able to find the screws to put the plate back on the router at all. Oh, you know what? We don't even have to. Forgot I've got my plunge base. We'll use the plunge base. It's fine. We don't have to switch the bases out. We do have to take the depth ring off of it though. So we'll just go ahead and we're just going to mount this up on the stationary base. Just so we don't lose it, because that's where it goes. Okay, get that in there nice and square, just like that. Keep that unplugged until we get this all fixed in. We'll go ahead and drop the plunge base all the way so we can get to the bit, to the collet. Actually, we want to do about right there, so I can get that in there and reach the collet, still be able to tighten it. So let's get that all the way in there. Spin that till it locks right there. Tighten that baby down. So this will be the last thing we do tonight, guys, before we break stream. And then we'll be back hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow we're prepping for a fake holiday that we somebody made up. And basically it's going to be an excuse to eat a bunch of food, watch a bunch of movies, and drink a bunch of beer on Saturday. So that's all good. Kind of all about it. Looking forward to it. So one thing we're going to do really quick is we're going to set the depth on the plunge base. Doesn't have to be quite that deep. I want to be able to make sure that it seats all the way, so I want to leave some on the top or some above, but I don't necessarily want to go all the way in the depth of the piece of the bow tie. So we'll go just a little deeper than that. Deeper, Daddy. Sorry, it's all I got. That's about right there. I got a phone. I do have a phone. I don't have a message. I thought I had a message. Okay. All right, guys, let's route this bow tie out, huh? Whee! We're going to set that stop right there. right there. That's where we're going to set our stop at, because we're going to plunge into that and then set the router depth. So we're actually going to release the router base, the plunge base. We're going to come down. We're going to start it spinning before we dig down in. So hopefully we don't fuck this up. All right. Let's see. I don't want to be on max speed. It is a hardwood. I don't want to burn it. There we go. All set. Nice and... Yep, there we go. So now we're just going to work out from here. Work the inside. Go ahead and clear that out. Alright. We're going to approximate the edge as close as we can. We'll actually square it out with a hand chisel in a little bit, but we want to make as little work with that as possible. And I don't have a problem stopping to do this and clean the dust out and make sure that we're where we need to be. I don't have a problem stopping. I'd rather go a little slow. And be a little more careful. Make sure we don't pass over that pencil line that we drew. You guys can see that's cutting in there a little bit like that. My butt is vibrating. That was a little close. That's why you gotta clean this out, guys. We're gonna get a dust collection system that I don't have. I actually had an adapter for this router, but woo, let's be careful there. All that would happen is I would end up creating a bigger bow tie and re-stenciling it. But I don't want to do the work twice. So let's try not to do that, all right? Still good. We're still inside our bow tie. I may have eaten a piece of pecan, and I don't mean the nut. Clean this up on the inside with what we've got. All right, we'll get the chisel out. We'll go ahead and put the router back in the fixed base on the table. And then we'll go ahead and get the chisel out and finish this up. Lower that out of the way. Put our plunge base back. Put our square back. You got the hammer and the chisel. Now we're going old school. We're going to stay inside. Inside. Yep. See how it fits. Cut it that way or that way. It's going to make a difference because it's not perfect. It looks like it goes the other way. Look at that. Oh, I can't even get it out to glue it. All right. There we go. Nice. All right. So we got a little bit of a tight spot, which is actually preferable right there. All right, guys. Let's glue up our bow tie, and then we're going to call it for the night. Appreciate everybody that's hanging out. Hope y'all are having a great night tonight. This is why you close your glue when you're done. All right, here we go. Never pound directly on the piece that's going to be shown. Never want to pound on our actual show piece. So we're going to use a cover piece, right, just like that. Something that can take a hammer blow that I'm not too worried about being decorative because it's not going to be a part of anything. Make sure that's in there nice and tight. One more really nice whack. Sure gets in there all the way. And then we're going to come across with a, we'll use a dovetail saw or like a back cut saw. It's a draw saw to cut that nice and flush tomorrow after it dries. If you guys join me back here tomorrow night, you'll see me actually do that, and then we'll go ahead. We'll cut that off and then sand that flat, and you guys will see what that bow tie is going to look like tomorrow. Hey, so everybody, look, I really, really, really appreciate every single one of you guys that comes out and checks out the streams in the workshop. I really do. I love every one of y'all. You all know that. So, hey, in the meantime, till tomorrow, guys, go check it out. TheLumberDaddy.com. The website is live. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, and on Instagram. And I greatly, greatly appreciate every bit of that. Y'all can go check that out. Also, the workshop streams, the D&D, the video game playthroughs, all of it, they are up on YouTube, and they are launching daily right now. So make sure you get over there, check out some of the playthroughs. You can check out some of the workshop streams that we were working on previously, some of the other projects we finished. I would love to have you all over there. Go ahead and head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. And you guys, this way also, if you miss any of the videos and stuff from the workshop that you're looking for, you guys can go over there. You'll get notifications on when they go live, and you'll be able to go check those out. Until then, until tomorrow, guys, I'll be back here. But until then, y'all make good choices and stay safe. God bless every one of y'all and be good. Daddy's watching.